now let's talk about adjusting the color on your clips. So oftentimes when you're shooting, you might see that the footage that you've shot might be, too dull or flat or under or overexposed. And iMovie has some great tools for adjusting the color of your clips, making them more vibrant and dynamic, and even adding special effects. So you can edit your clips in the event browser or in the project timeline pane. But just for a note, any edits that you have in the project pane will not affect the original clip, whereas any edits in the original clip will affect wherever that clip is used in any project. All right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my clip, just double click on it, and you'll see I have all these options in the effects bar. So the first one over here you'll see is the color balance tool. And it has a couple different options: auto, match color, white balance, skin tone balance. And the first one, auto, is basically automatically trying to improve your clip. So if I press this, iMovie goes in and it says, what can I do to make this better? It automatically goes in. Sometimes it'll do a good job, and sometimes it won't do a great job. So, it's something to play around with. But sometimes you have particular sort of effects that you wanted to go for, or you're trying to match other clips. So you might want to also try going in and doing that manually. So I'm just going to reset that right there. So match color right here is the second option, and this is where you want to sort of match the color of another clip. So if I hit match color, I select the other clip that I want to match it to with my little sort of eyedropper tool, and iMovie goes in and it tries to match this frame to that frame. And you can sort of see what it's doing. It's looking at this frame, it's saying, oh, this one's a little bit red sort of toned, so I'm going to do that with my frame right here. And this is helpful if you're trying to have a consistent look and feel of two different indoor shots, but they're not shot at the same time or in the same location. So this toggle right here lets you see what the effect looks like. It's a very subtle one right here, and you can X to not use it, or to apply the changes, hit the sort of check mark. But I'm not going to use that, so I'm going to hit cancel. So that's match color, and that's matching your clip to another clip in your project. So white balance right here is the manual mode for balancing the image, and this, it turns your mouse into a cursor, and it looks like a little eyedropper, and you can place it over a portion of the image that should be white or a neutral gray. So I'm saying, you know what, this right here should be a white or a neutral gray. And it didn't really do very much, but say I went over here, you'll see it does more. So you can try clicking around a little bit. So basically it's looking for the area that should be white or a neutral gray, all right? So that's this one. And, I can toggle right here to see it. And, it did a little something. It's, I kind of like it, so I'm going to keep it. Okay? So the last one is the skin tone balance. And this is the case if you have people in your video and there might be sort of incorrect color cast to them. So with that one, say this is my person, and I do skin tone balance. I just put my eyedropper on the portion of their face or the skin that you think is totally properly exposed. Like I think this part right here, and it changes all of it. So for maybe this one wasn't a good example because she doesn't have that much skin actually showing in this, this shot, but it could be a really good sort of tool to be using if you're using like a very extreme close-up. So I'm just going to X that out. So that is right here, the color balance tool. So right next to that is the color correction tool. So you'll notice here that you have 3 sliders. The one all the way to the right here, is the temperature slider. And here you adjust the temperature of your clip to make the colors warmer or cooler. And it ranges from dark blue to dark yellow. And, if you go towards blue, your clip gets more cool toned. If you go towards yellow, it's more warm toned. So maybe I want this a little bit cooler. And then let's look at the middle one right here. This middle clip right here is, this middle slider right here is the saturation slider. And this determines how intense the colors are overall. and you can make the clip more or less colorful. So you drag to the right to add saturation. Whoa, it's getting very, very, very saturated. Or the more you drag to left, the more you're leaching out the color until you can get all the way to black and white. And this could be an effect that you might want to use. So that's the saturation slider. So maybe I just want to add a little bit more saturation right there. So the next one right here is sort of the complicated looking slider, and it has many different sort of buttons. And this is the highlights, shadows, brightness, and contrast slider. And it's all the way right here. So the first one up here is the shadow slider, and you can drag it to the right or the left. To the right lightens the dark areas. To the left lightens the dark areas. So maybe I want to add a little bit more contrast, so I slide that one. And you'll notice they're all sort of connected to each other. The next one after that, these two sort of half circles right here, can help you adjust the contrast of your clip, and you can drag it in or out. You can drag either one in or out. They're both connected. So, ooh, I want a little bit more contrast right there. That looks good. So the one in the middle of that is the gray circle, and this adjusts the brightness, and that's the overall brightness of the image. And you can make it darker or lighter. You can think about this as the exposure. And the very last one, all the way to the right, is a white circle, which is the highlights. And so I can push my highlights brighter or darker, very much up to you.